On Monday, Laurie came home late, full of news. "Charles!" he shouted as he came up the hill. I was waiting anxiously on the front steps. "Charles!" Laurie yelled all the way up the hill. "Charles was bad again." "Come right in," I said as soon as he came close enough. "Lunch is waiting." "You know what Charles did?" he demanded, following me through the door. "Charles yelled so in school that they sent a boy in from first grade to tell the teacher she had to make Charles keep quiet. And so Charles had to stay after school, and so all the children stayed to watch him." "What did he do?" I asked. "He just sat there," Laurie said, climbing into his chair at the table. "Hi, Pop, you old dust mop." "Charles had to stay after school today," I told my husband. "Everyone stayed with him." "What does this Charles look like?" my husband asked Laurie. "And what's his other name?" "Well, he's bigger than me," Laurie said. "And he doesn't have any rubber boots. And he doesn't even wear a jacket." Monday night was the first parent-teachers meeting, and only the fact that the baby had a cold kept me from going. I wanted to meet Charles's mother. On Tuesday, Laurie remarked suddenly, "Our teacher had a friend come to see her in school today." "Charles's mother?" my husband and I asked simultaneously. "Nah," said Laurie scornfully. "It was a man who came and made us do exercises. We had to touch our toes. Look." He climbed down from his chair and squatted down and touched his toes. "Like this," he said. He got solemnly back up into his chair and he said, picking up his fork, "Charles didn't even do exercises." "Well, that's fine," I said heartily. "Didn't Charles want to do exercises?" "No," Laurie said. "Charles was so fresh to the teacher's friend, he wasn't let to do exercises." "Fresh again?" I said. "He kicked the teacher's friend," Laurie said. "The teacher's friend told Charles to touch his toes like I just did, and Charles kicked him." "What are they going to do about Charles, do you suppose?" Laurie's father asked him. Laurie shrugged elaborately. "Throw him out of school, I guess," he said. Wednesday and Thursday were routine. Charles yelled during story hour and hit a boy in the stomach and made him cry. On Friday, Charles stayed after school again, and so did all the other children. With the third week of kindergarten, Charles was an institution in our family. The baby was being a Charles when she cried all afternoon. Laurie did a Charles when he filled his wagon full of mud and pulled it through the kitchen. Even my husband, when he caught his elbow in the telephone cord and pulled the telephone ashtray and a bowl of flowers off the table, said after a first minute, "Looks like Charles." During the third and fourth weeks, it looked like a reformation in Charles. Laurie reported grimly at lunch on Thursday of the third week. "Charles was so good today, the teacher gave him an apple." "What?" I said, and my husband added warily, "You mean Charles?" "Charles," Laurie said. "He gave the crayons around and he picked up the books afterward, and the teacher said he was her helper." "What happened?" I asked incredulously. "He was her helper, that's all," Laurie said and shrugged. "Can this be true about Charles?" I asked my husband that night. "Can something like this happen?" "Wait and see," my husband said. "When you've got a Charles to deal with, this may mean he's only plotting." He seemed to be wrong. For over a week, Charles was the teacher's helper. Each day he handed things out and he picked things up, and no one had to stay after school. "The PTA meeting's next week again," I told my husband one evening. "I'm going to find Charles's mother there." "Ask her what happened to Charles," my husband said. "I'd like to know." "I'd like to know myself," I said.